Hey, good evening, folks. Welcome to the Let's Go Fishing Show. And as you can see, I've got Mike with me again tonight, be my guest. Mike, good to have you.
Good to be here.
Yes, sir. Always good to have you. Want to say hello to Dad, Polly and Bill.
Yes, sir.
Up there in Clinton. I know they're watching. Dad better be watching, or I'm going
That's what I told him.
to turn him loose on you.
Make sure he's watching the show tonight. You'd come get him tomorrow.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Mike. Yeah, for sure. Folks, today's Pearl Harbor Day. Want to thank all our veterans and their military people. Can't honor them enough. Also, too, Mike, caught the interview that they gave Jeremy Pruitt.
Yeah.
There, while I was getting ready to come to the show. Think we done a pretty good hire.
I think so too. Time will tell.
Yeah. I hope he schedules them home games on, away from Saturdays when these tournaments fall over on Loudon. Well, I tell you what, we used to have a time over there when trying to fish a bass tournament over there in a Tennessee ball game at home. Boy, it was a mess.
Yeah, I'd either play them all the way or play them on Monday night. So.
Yeah, get them on the Monday night or something. Yeah, I agree. Anyway, I do think we got a good, sounded awful good to me. We always like to pull for Tennessee and do always pull for them, but it's been a little rough this year, so maybe things will be turned around. Sounds real good anyway. All righty. Listen, we got some crappie film. Mike got a couple of trips there. Then he and I were down there last Saturday. Wound up 11 nice crappie. I mean, they was 7
Filled
or 8.
the frying pan, didn't it?
Yeah, boy. Yeah, man, Mike, they sure did. They I filleted those things up, but he had a gallon bag full of fillets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. So that was my wife Sherry was real tickled with that because we had depleted our reserves and so we got to get back on some more of them, Mike. Got to get back on some more of them. Also, we got a couple of crappie trips, and then Wesley and I went to Norse last Saturday night, and I just knew we'd kill them, but we didn't. It's just too pretty a night. I mean, the lake looked like glass, and the moon was out bright, and it was. I finally figured out that them fish was 30 foot plus, Mike, to get, which I caught a couple of fish in there on a steep bank, and you'll do that on a steeper bank, on a bluff bank or one that's got a good drop to it, pretty steep bank. You'll get a bite right in there. I mean, and really and truly, you throw your bait out there, and it may go down 10, 12 feet before it ever hits the bottom the first time, and sometimes 20 feet. And there'll be a fish or two cruising around in them kind of places this time of year, and that's what happened. But then when it got down to where I needed to find out where the fish were at, I had to get out there, set the boat in about 35, 37 foot of water off them points to get a bite.
Well, it amazes me how fast a fish can actually swim.
I know.
He can come out of 20 foot of water up to 4 or 5 foot when he hears something splash, just almost blinky eye.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's exactly right, Mike. They're definitely quick. They definitely are that. So anyway, we got some of that going on, and Mike and I even went back Monday night back to Norse because I thought I had them figured out, but it wasn't the case, was it, Mike?
No, that super moon stuff, something else.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, we'll get into the details on that after we show the film and that kind of thing. Dylan, are we going to have crappie film first? Yeah, that'd be fine. Show the crappie film. All right, buddy. Thank you. All right, folks, I'm here with Mike. We're here at Rockwood Slough. Just put the boat in, probably about 10 o'clock or a little later. And just got a good report from over to Jerry's bait shop. Stopped there and got Mike's baits and that dynamite he uses, and we're going out here and see if we can catch some of these crappie. Got some good reports. There's been a lot of crappie brought in this week. So we're going to try them out, see what we can do. Remember our sponsors, folks, and let's go fishing. We hope to get back with you on, have some crappie on the line here and see what goes on. Yeah, it's on. Okay, folks, there's Mike with us a good crappie right there, first one. Yeah, hit the top hook, Mike.
Yeah.
They may not be down on the bottom.
May not be.
All right. Oh, there's a good starter.
Yeah. All right, Steve found him one down there.
Yeah, he'll be close to being a keeper, Mike. I'll
Be close, put him on the board there and see. It's laying there in the box.
Yeah.
I'll get back after me one.
There we go. All right, Mike got another good crappie there now. That's a little bigger than that other.
Big.
Yes, sir. All right, on the top hook.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, just keep getting.
Yeah.
All right, there Mike is with another good crappie.
Yeah, nice.
On that top hook again, Mike.
Yeah, bud.
Boy, another nice one. Mike's got something on here.
Ah, you just come off.
Oh, man, you gotta be kidding me.
No.
Son of a gun. All right.
Yeah, Steve.
Well, Mike, you brought me crappie fishing. Here I am catching bass.
Yeah, that's a smallmouth. Well, they like them minnows too.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah.
Quit flopping, old buddy, and I'll get you off there.
Throw him back. He might be a world record one of these days.
Yeah, might be.
All right. We'll put him back in the water and get after his crappie.
All right, there Mike is with another big crappie. Uh-huh. Okie dokie, Mike.
Nice.
We're picking them up, one here and one there, folks. We hadn't really got on a bunch of them yet. We're going to keep trying them here. Mike's got something else. Oh, my goodness. He got one of them things on there.
Yeah. Them slimers.
Yeah. All right, Mike, I won't film him. I don't want Tony to know you catching.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, look at there. Boy, you was lucky on that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't even have to handle him. He just come off. All righty. Crappie on there. Yeah, buddy, Mike, he'd be close to keeping, but we'll check him and see.
Oh, yeah, he'll make a keeper.
All righty.
Check him.
Good crappie there now, Mike.
Yeah.
Sure have. Yes, sir. All righty. Right on the very next drop. You just got to stay in here where the structure's at, folks. I'm telling you. Okay, Mike. Keep getting.
Yeah.
All right. There Mike is with a small crappie now.
Yeah, he's too little.
He's too little. Yeah. So he is.
A bit too little.
Okay. We'll get him back in the water. Try to get another keeper. Black nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the racing stripe on it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Mike's got something else on here. Don't know what. Oh man, got a big old crappie. Yeah, boy. Yeah, now Mike, that's what we're looking for right there. In case you didn't know it.
Yeah.
Huh?
He might eat.
Yeah, I believe that in there eat for sure. Oh, good. Yeah, buddy, that's a dandy. Yeah, we'd like to have about 15 like that. Good deal. Mike?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't let him get off now.
No.
Got him in the boat now.
Yeah. Oh, he slung my meter off.
That's all right.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mike, let's get another. Oh, yeah. Golly, bum.
Crappie.
What a slab. Yeah, boy. That looks good, Mike. Looks real good. Yeah, boy. All right. Mighty fine. Good deal. Good crappie. There's another big crappie. Now that and there come out of the same trees that other one did a minute ago. Atta boy, Mike, I'll get him. Set deal. Good deal. All right.
All right. That's a nice one.
Yeah, boy, that's old Joe there, ain't it?
Pretty good.
Hold still, buddy. I'll get you right off there. Put you right in the skillet.
Good. Pretty good.
Yeah, buddy. He knocked the fool out of that thing, Mike. Sure did. Figure out where my hook's at there and get him loose. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, he did. He come running at that thing 90 mile an hour.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get another one, Mike. Get your bait in the water. Sure.
A couple of pieces off that right there is all you need.
Yeah, boy. And Mike's got something on there, yeah. That's exactly what he's got.
Yeah, that's one of them catfish.
Yeah, one of them with whiskers.
Yeah.
That won't help us none, Mike.
No, that don't help.
All right. Yep, Mike's got another one of them there whiskers.
Yeah.
Sure has. All right, Mike.
Yeah.
All right. There we go. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, we found a few of them crappie, Mike. They, to me, they're not really ganged up, heavy, 4, 5, 6, one place. Seems like they're 2 or 3, 1 to 2, maybe 3 if you're lucky.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The depth, we kind of got clued in on the depth there a little bit, but man, we fished a lot of places, a lot of good places too, that never even got a strike off of, or either it was catfish. You know? And, yeah, them crappies the way they are right now, you know, just have to keep hitting places one after the other, trying to find one that's got some crappie in it.
Right, right.
I don't know where the rest of them just out there looking back or hiding or afraid to go in there or what. But nowhere else could we catch a fish, you know, shallower, deeper, you know, just all over. But, the only thing I did notice, it seemed like the fish that we did catch was more or less on the main channel. The places where we went back in the holler and tried to fish the creek channels or something.
Right. We never got a bite.
Never got a bite off of it.
And you know, he's got some places, folks, in these pockets and back in the creeks and this, that, and the other at 15, 18 foot deep out to 30 feet. But the few of them that we fished didn't get a bite.
Didn't get a bite off.
Everything we got was out on the channel and fishing the big trees off in that. And you know, the water temperature was 56, 58 degrees. You know, you may be sitting in 35 foot of water at the top of that tree, but what Mike was trying to do was fish that thing from in there about halfway in the tree out to the end of it. And some of the fish we caught would be out on the deep end of it, Mike, but they'd be halfway up in the tree.
Halfway up the tree, too.
Sure would. You start easing it up, and bam, you know, and want to get it. And you know, when it gets colder, that water temperature gets down in the 40s, they may be right out on the very tip of that tree.
Maybe.
And so, you know, if you're fishing them treetops, either, you know, they're either fell off the bank and wedged from the bank out, or either they came, you know, fell off out in the water and you can't see the trunks or nothing, but it's there. And then there's a lot of places with that electronics that he's got that, you know, you wouldn't even think a tree was there, and they'll be 2 or 3.
Yeah, it washes in and everything, yes, and it come down the river there over the years.
Right. Exactly right, Mike. They'll change places on us, you know, and stuff
Yes.
like that. So let's get that phone call, and we'll come right back to what we was talking about here. Hello, caller.
Hi there, Steve. This is Shanna. I was just wanting to say that I want to go fishing with you, but it sure is awful cold outside.
Shanna, you know, honey, it never gets too cold for us to fish.
I think it sure does. It sure is cold outside right now.
Well, it's getting just right. Just tell you the truth about it. When it's, I'm proud you called in. Papa's always glad to hear from you because I very seldom hear from you through the week. But
I know.
yeah, you just wait just a few more days, and when it gets where there's just a little bit of ice on the water, then that's when I want you to go, and we'll catch some.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, honey. Take care and be careful.
I will. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All righty. That's my granddaughter Shanna. Talking about it being cold. Anyway, you know, like we was talking, them trees wash in. They come down the river. They hang on get hung up on a sandbar in 4 or 5 foot of water, and they lay there for a while. And then the next good high water comes, they get waterlogged, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time the water comes up, why, they come on down the river and they'll sink off, and
That's right. That's
you don't
right.
know whether they're there
Mm-hmm.
until you find them on your electronics. So that's a good thing to remember. I didn't get a picture from Tony this week, so I figure he'll be calling in here in a few minutes and let us know if he's been or not, and what he's up to. In the meantime, let me show this picture from Dale Hollow. Dylan, whenever you get ready, put that up and just hold it there, and we'll do a little bit of talking there. That's my Uncle George and his fishing partner there, and I think they caught about 30 crappie and put 15 of their best ones on a stringer there, and less than 2.5 hours, he said, Mike. That's what the text message said. Let me pull it up here and read it there. They're out there at the state dock on Dale Hollow, and let me see here what it just actually said. Yeah, John and I had 28 crappie yesterday in about 3 hours. 15 of the biggest ones. Here, thinking you was coming up to smallmouth fish, and the bite is still been good this week, and cold front may turn them off for a few days. Crappie's bites should be better. So that's what he texted me about the smallmouth and the crappie, and what, 27 there in about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little better than what we done.
Yeah,
I mean, we didn't get to fish all that long down there the other day. It was close to noontime we got started.
Yeah, it was late. Yeah, it was quite late. Sure was. They had a bass tournament out of Tom Fuller Park. It was a Heartland, and Jonathan runs it, and 20. I think it's 2062 or 2162 won that.
Yeah.
And that was you know, that's a little better than a 4-pound average.
It sure is.
And so you know, the bass was biting, and sure was. And I think the weekend before that, Jonathan had 18 something in a tournament he was fishing down there. So anyway, I'm meant to get on the computer and pull up that Heartland schedule down there, and I will do that. But I think they're pretty much fished out till after Christmas, and but I'll get those schedules pulled up. I need that. I've been dragging my feet on that computer, and I need to get back on it and get these schedules out. And I wish Doug Presley was watching so that he could forward me a schedule or get me one that's already printed out or whatever. But anyway, I'll try to get that information to you. But that was a good report from Dale Hollow, and I'll tell you another good report from Dale Hollow. talked to Bill the day before yesterday, and he and I talked for probably 20, 30 minutes, and trying to set us up a trip to Dale Hollow. And we're just trying to figure out how we can arrange it. Anyway, Max Meredith was out there last weekend.
Yeah.
And I reckon that Max killed him. He had 15 or 16 last Friday, and he had several fish, 5 pound or better, and I don't know how many fours. He says the best half a day he had ever fished out there, Mike. And he got on them fish in a creek up there, and I reckon just wore them smallmouth out.
Well, that sounded good.
Yeah, and so Max, he had to come home, but he was going to go back.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I know.
I don't blame him for that either. He's supposed to be going back, and shucks, yeah. And he was in the boat by himself. You know, tell him what he would have done if he'd had a little help.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man.
At least he didn't break no rods this time.
Well, I hope he didn't. We'll just have to check with him when we see him and see. But he had a good day on the smallmouth out there. And George was telling me when I talked to him, they're catching some on live bait, they're catching some on artificial, and they're catching some shallow, and they're catching them out there 30 foot. So it's he said, George told me this. He said, this is the best I've seen Dale. He'd been out there for, Chuck's, I don't know, 15 years or 20 out there in that neighborhood right around Dale Hollow, and fishing out there is the only place he's been fishing. And he said it's the best fall he's seen. There's been more 21-inch smallmouth, he said, weighed in November than he's seen since he's been out there. And just, everybody that comes in's got a big one. So sounds good. But that's what I know on the fishing reports. I will go ahead and we'll I'll tell you what, Dylan, give us a chance to get a bottle of water here. Show us that Reynolds commercial there. Give us a little break with that, and then come back to us, and we'll talk about the rest of the fishing here. Hey folks, I'm here at Reynolds Racing and Marine, and boy, I tell you what, I've got these oats on the camera here. There's a 5-passenger. I'm gonna back off just a little bit so you can get a good look at this thing. The wheels, the shocks, the winches. I mean, it's just loaded with all kinds of extras. Got Mr. Glenn out here. Glenn, give us a little rundown on this machine.
This is the latest and greatest. It has, would you believe it or not, it's got heated seats both top and bottom.
Heated seats top and bottom.
It's got the navigation and the GPS and all that. Of course, it's a 4-door, 5-seater.
Right.
It's got at least 17 inches of ground clearance. Got the big shocks.
Yes,
the
sir.
duck beds. It's got the 2 boxes in the side like a late model
like pickup trucks got.
Trucks got now.
Yes, sir.
Got a lot of bells and whistles.
Boy, it sure looks nice. I tell you, Glenn, it's just unreal at all the features that's on that thing. I see you got double winches, trailer hitch,
Whole work,
bumpers, everything.
Tailgates, backup lights, signal lights, mirrors, whole works. And then we got some that start at $79.95 now. It's a new Comrade we got in. They're a smaller unit.
Right.
So we go from $79.95 to $18.9. So just come on down, and now's the time, and riding times start pretty soon.
Okay, Glenn, appreciate it, and I'll pass that word along to the viewers tonight, and hopefully we can get some people down here looking at it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Glenn. Folks, here's a shot of the old original ATV, I guess, or 4-wheeler, and got a double seat on it, all kinds of handlebar protection, and gun, I guess, storage for everything on the back, up on the front, got a trailer hitch on it, big tires. Man, this thing's pretty good sized machine, I'm telling you. So That'd be something else you can check out when you get down here at Reynolds Racing and Marine and look at this thing right here and see what you think about it. Pretty nice machine. All right, here's another side by side. Got the bed, dump bed on it, 2 passenger, mirrors. Nice looking machine. Trailer hitch on it. Check that out, folks. That's another hose. It says 650 EFI on the side of it here. 4x4, so got the doors on it. Anyway, you can check these out at Reynolds Racing Marine there in Harriman, folks. Hey, I'm not. I'm here in front of a 2018 Express. Just got it in this week. And I'm not going to bother them about unwrapping this thing, but it sure is pretty. A X18 foot boat, and it's a 2018 model. Aluminum trailer, all aluminum. Got the bolsters on the back to load this thing up with. Drive on trailer. Pretty gray and blue color there. You might want to come by here and check this thing out. It looks good outside, like I said. I'm not going to bother them about uncovering it, but it'd be nice to check out there. Here's one of 2 of the, I think they're 24 footers, 22, 24 footers, the center console boats. He's got this tan and red, black trim, and then he's also got a tan one, and I think it's tan and black over here next to the road. So that'd be something else you can, if you're looking for a big boat, that'd be something to check out. All right, folks, there's a little episode of some film, video of some stuff they got down at Reynolds's, and that 5-passenger Odes there, Mike. I tell you what, it's a Jeep. I mean, it is definitely a Jeep. There ain't no 2 ways about it. That thing got GPS on it. You know, heated seats, top and bottom, seat and the back. You know, just loaded down with stuff. You know, no doubt about it. And I don't know what the horsepower is on that thing. I should have investigated that a little bit more.
Around 80 horsepower.
About 80 horsepower.
I think that's what he said.
I tell you what, that thing is definitely loaded down, and it's a big machine, without a doubt. Put 5 people in that thing and cover a lot of territory. Speaking of that, Mike, let me do this. Let me do this thing on from Brandon Card this past weekend on Norris. It says the 2017 Brandon Card College and High School Bass Open held on Saturday, December the 2nd at North Lake was a huge success for 2 Anderson County High School fishing teams, according to the Norris Bulletin. Competing against 163 anglers from various colleges and high schools from several states, the team of Luke Lowry and Ian Neff secured the first place win in the high school division by limiting out with 10.75 pounds to secure the win for the Anderson County High School fishing team. The 2 took home $1,500 in cash and other prizes. The team of Lowry and Neff also had the most weight on the day for both the high school and college divisions. Rounding out the top 10 in the high school divisions was the Anderson County High School team of Turner Scruggs and Storm Klein with 4.20 pounds, and the team of Scruggs and Klein also captured the $250 award for the largest bass. Clinching the win in the college division was the reigning champion, the University of Kentucky, with 9.35 pounds. organized by Campbell County native and UK graduate Brandon Carter, member of the Bassmasters Pro Tour. This was the second annual tournament for this North Lake event. So congratulations to all those guys. Like we mentioned before, folks, these a lot of high school teams and a lot of college teams in the state of Tennessee, and sounds like they're still hard at it. Let's see here. Yeah, that took care of that. Let me check that off. Mike, yeah, we didn't do that. Okay. Yeah, let me give you the reason. My engine on my boat, I got a Pro XS 250, and I noticed that we had a little oil leak or some oil coming from somewhere that was running down the housing there, and on the outside I thought it was water, but I rubbed my finger through it and it was oily, so knew I had a problem. But anyway, we diagnosed the problem, took the thing down there today, and left it, and it's got a leak around the oil pump, and they're not going to try to fix it. They just going to put a new one on, and so I'll get it back tomorrow or Saturday. Probably be Saturday because I got something I got to do tomorrow. But anyway, in the meantime, while we had that thing down there, the first thing we done was put the thing on the computer and put the water hose to it, fired it up. You know, we had to pull the cowlings off and this, that, and the other where we could see where, in case that thing wasn't leaking where we thought it might be, and we pulled the bottom cowlings off around the block and everything where we could look around. We fired the thing up and hooked the computer up, and anyway, what I'm trying to get to is you need to have, you know, if you're not doing a winterizing your boat in the winter time, you probably ought to be, because I had a piece of trash in my thermostat. Had a piece, couldn't think, had a piece of trash in the thermostat. One side of the head was getting the water that it needed to get. The other side wasn't. It was running, the temperature on it was running like 65 to 68 degrees, and this other one was running 128 to 130 degrees. Because what happens there is that thermostat puts that water, it closes, and it was cocked open, and the water was just bypassing the cylinder heads. So you get into trouble, and they pulled that thing down, and a little old piece, it's about the size of a match head. Just a little old piece of wood gotten under that thermostat and had it cocked open.
Yes.
And you know, if I'd have kept running that thing like that, you know, you got a water temperature gauge on your boat, but it's an equalized temperature. And this, when you put this thing on that computer, you can go, you go to the port side and starboard side, and you watch all three cylinders on each side, and you're getting the temperature off of each side, rather than it all being equalized on your temperature gauge there on your dash. You're getting an average reading, and it may, you know, normally that thing ought to run about anywhere from 125 to 130 degrees. So you're running down the lake, everything's fine at about 128 degrees. Well, then if it starts showing you that you're running at about 110 or 15 degrees, you need to think there's something going on. And because what I'm saying is, you got this one side running cold, the other side's running like it's supposed to, but your gauge is showing an average temperature, and it may fall off 10, 15, 20 degrees difference from what normal would be. And so anyway, we got that thing in there and found that little problem, and then there's a filter down inside none of the power head that filters the water that goes to cool your compressor up here. And so while we had the skirts off, easy to get to, pulled that filter out and had a bunch of trash in it. So anyway, that comes back to that winterization. You know, I went down there with what I thought was one problem, and when we put the computer on it, I had 3 problems.
Yes, sir.
And so I was proud that we got that located, got that figured out, and everything, and so I you know, feel like I'm trouble free once we get that oil pump on that thing, and it's just a. It could have been an old ring or whatever, but they don't, you know, they send them back to Mercury, they repair them or whatever they do with them, and they're going to put a new one on my engine because it's under warranty. But that was putting that thing on that computer. If you've got a newer engine if it's got an electronic brain on it, they can analyze it. That's just the bottom line. That's the first thing you do. To hook that thing up. You might think it's doing fine, running good, and it probably is, but it's good to have that little peace of mind, Mike, you know, on that engine, and it didn't take them 10 minutes to hook that computer up, get the water hose on the engine, and get the computer hooked up, and it just diagnose that thing right down to everything you want to check. And
Yes,
it was a good deal. Like I said, I sure would hate to be down a month or two here trying to get a new power head. You know, if I'd kept running that thing like it was and locked it up or something, then I'd been out 2 or 3 couple of months of fishing.
well, see, in the old motors, 2.4s, 2.5s, and stuff like that, you had to take your meter and take everything loose and read it and get a certain ohms on it. And in the book, it would tell you what it took to make sure that part was okay. With these new engines, that brain's already checking that thing,
Yeah.
the ohms in it all the time. So it knows what's going on there when they put it on that computer there to run that diagnostic on it. It reads that brain and says, hey, there's something wrong right here.
Yeah. Well, after we got all that figured out, we cut the motor off, and he took his laptop there and punched that thing, scrolled down, got it on the oil pump, and you'd push that button on that, and this was the key switch. I mean, all we had on was the key switch. The engine wasn't even running, and he'd just push that button to cause that oil pump to kick in, and you'd watch that little drop of oil come down the bottom of it.
Oh, yeah.
I'd wipe it off with the rag, and he'd hit it again. Yeah, I said, it's right here. You know, and so, yeah, that thing is, it logs everything that engine does, basically.
It sure does.
It's like the black box on an airplane. It tracks everything that it does, and so, you know, after we got into it, I'm glad that I guess the oil pump was a blessing to get me to get that thing in the shop, and because I thought it was fine, you know, and come to find out it wasn't fine, and if I'd have kept running it, even after we'd put the oil pump on, if we hadn't checked them other things that it said to check, it could have blew it up.
Should have.
You know.
And, it seemed when it started up the other night there, it seemed pretty rough, but then it smoothed out. But then
smoothed right
when
out.
It took off. You know, of course, sitting there idling, you ain't got the water pressure that you got running down the lake.
Yeah.
So, you know, you force feeding more water through there running down the lake than it actually needs. So it opens up the poppet valve and dumps a lot of it. So, you know, it probably didn't have to have that kind of water to cool it. It's getting more water than it needed, so it didn't show up anything. But when you're sitting there idling, and that's when it really gets hot.
Yeah, well, that's and the way Glenn explains that, this cold water is you know, metal contracts when it gets cold.
Yeah.
And you're putting this cold water out here on the outside of this sleeve, and then you got this hot piston coming in there. He said people don't understand, but that's what happens when this water problem, when this thing stops up and goes to bypassing around. It causes that jacket or that sleeve to contract, and then your piston's swelling up because it's firing off of it. And he said, next thing you know, it's locked up.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the colder the temperature gets, the worse that gets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're running. We was 56, 58 degree water up there north, and you take that water down 45 degrees. It could really stick quick. So anyway, that's just like I said, folks. I'm just tickled that we got the thing in the shop and put it on the computer to diagnose it, and found 2 or 3 other little things that needed to be corrected before I messed up my engine. You know, warranty is great, but there's still a little bit of service that needs to be done to them things. Flush them out, this, that, and the other, before you store them up. And if you're using them year round like I do, if you're in a lot of trash, you know, heck, that might, I never knew I hit anything, but it was just a little piece of, like I said, about the size of a match head. It had that little old thermostat blocked open.
There's trash all over the water just about all the time. It's so small you never see it. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's just I pass that information along to you so you can check on things and keep things going. Because that's one thing you got to have on them engines is water.
That's right.
That's what helps keep everything cool and this, that, and the other. So
I've seen a lot of them, and I just grit my teeth when I see them do it. Get out of the water and start them up, or before they put them in the water, start them up and see if they're going to run before they even put them in the water. And man, that you're talking about smoking a water pump. Woo.
Yeah, that does, Mike. You're exactly right. And here's another thing too. We got some grass in places on Watts Bar, and then you run off down to Chickamauga or Gunnersville, where there's a lot of grass. You're chopping through that grass. You know, that water pump's sucking that up.
Oh yeah.
And so you know, I don't know how much the back flushing will get, but I don't know that it even back flush over there through that filter that picks the water up, goes up to your compressor. But anyway, just a thought, folks. Just thought I'd pass that information along to you. Might keep you from blowing up an engine. Anyway, let's see, Mike. What else was it we had tonight we was going to talk about?
Show that film on the north.
Yeah. Well, Dylan, take us to the film on Norris, will you? Right. Burning. The moon's so bright. All right, folks. Saturday night, about 7:15, Wes and I just got the boat in. We couldn't stand it, folks. We just really couldn't. I've been wanting to catch this moon and the weather before it got bad this coming week, and we're going out here and see if we can get some fish, Wes.
All right.
Yeah. See how we're doing on the Zoom. Yeah, cleared up there pretty good. All righty. Anyway, there's a shot of the moon, and we're going out here and see if we can, what we can do. We'll get back with you short. Remember, sponsors, folks, and let's go fishing. I know we're crazy. You got to be. All righty, here we go.
All right, there's the first fish.
Make sure you don't get all the boat now.
Yep.
Never felt him hit it. He just had it. All right. Man, we should have had several bites up through there besides just that one. All right.
All right, there he is.
Okay, folks, there's our first fish.
Sores on his side there.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure is beat up, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Must be a gang of them over there. All right, back in the water he goes.
There he goes.
A good picture of him, Wes?
Yep. All right.
Okay.
Hello, fish.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Let's get another.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, that's your line I'm in.
No, that's your line, I think. I'm sure.
Okay.
Steve got him one here, finally. He lost the other one. Caught that in there, so.
Yeah, Mike, I hooked him in the lips too.
Yeah, he's he's a fat rascal, ain't he?
Yeah, he is. Sure is.
Been eating good.
Got my line wrapped around him a dozen times. That's
Yeah.
a pretty nice fish right there.
All right.
Both Mike and I are and had 2 or 3 bites.
Yeah.
Missed one just a second ago.
Yeah. We up here at the super moon, as they called it.
Yeah, we're in the super moon.
Yeah.
These fish seem to be out here in about 30, 35 foot of water. We're just trying to get them located and we're going to sack them.
Yeah.
Remember our sponsors, stay tuned. We hope to be back with you shortly. All right, Mike's got a second fish there now. Okay, Mike, that looks good. Looks good. Come back. Okay, now we're getting on something, though. About to figure out what's going on here, I hope. All right, let's get at it, Mike.
All right. You got one there?
Yeah, Mike, I've got one.
Yeah,
Okay,
nice
folks,
little fish.
We're kind of getting on a little deal here. We're
Yeah.
still hunting them bigger fish, but we're catching 3 or 4 here.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, back in the water. Pretty
Back in the water,
fish.
yeah.
Pretty fish. All right. Hey, folks, I'm here at Reynolds Racing and Marine, and well, I tell you what, I've got these oats on the camera here, and this is a 5-passenger. I'm gonna back off just a little bit so you can get a good look at this thing. The wheels, the shocks, the winches. I mean, it's just loaded with all kinds of extras. Got Mr. Glenn out here. Glenn, give us a little rundown on this
Well, this
machine.
This is the latest and greatest. It has, would you believe it or not, it's got heated seats both top and bottom.
Heated seats, top
And
and
it's
bottom.
got the navigation and the GPS and all that. Of course, it's a 4-door, 5-seater.
Right.
It's got at least 17 inches of ground clearance.
All right, we're back. Dylan was checking on something there and didn't get to cut the camera off quick enough. Anyway, Mike, let's talk about that trip that you and I had, and Wesley. You know, we should have done a lot better than we did.
Well, yeah, it was a little rough with that wind, like it was, but you know, we finally fooled around, and at least I think I got on a bait that they wanted.
I think you did too.
Had one good one that pulled it off, and then had a hold of a whopper of a fish there that I didn't really get to see, but he come around behind the boat on me when I slowed up on him and cut me off. So, you know, I think that copper was a pretty good bait to be throwing.
Well, yeah, I was too stubborn to swap. I kept saying I was going to tie me one on because I thought you had several more bites than I did, and you know, and we missed, you know, we missed some fish, but we wasn't on the right bait. I mean, I think you were a lot closer the bait you were throwing, the copper crawl, than I was with what I was throwing, and I was throwing a brown and brown. Jig, and you was throwing that copper crawl jig, and you know, I did catch a couple of fish and had several, you know, some bites that I missed, and but I don't think I ever got in. I think you had the best bait on. I was just too stubborn to try to swap.
Well, that smallmouth up there's got it right now.
Yeah, and I believe that was a dandy fish too. And because he come, I was getting the net, and he was back there at the back of the boat. And next thing I know, you hollered, he's broke my line.
Yep.
You know, and he got around behind the motor and cut you off. So, but you know, I don't know what the deal was. I was really disappointed that we didn't catch a lot of fish, because I felt like the fish was. I know they're there. They just didn't want to bite. And Saturday night when Wesley went out up there, like I said, it looked like a mirror out there. I mean, it was just bright. We could have filmed if we could have caught fish. We could have probably filmed without turning their lights on, on their heads, you know, to work the camera. It was that daggum bright. And I don't know, you know, like I said, I thought, well, heck, it's just too nice of a night out here, and hard to get them to bite, and which we were fishing in there shallow, trying to figure them out, and that's when later, right before we left, I finally had a hold of two fish and missed another one, and caught one, and I backed out there in that 35, which the boat was sitting in about 35. I figured the fish was right around 30 feet, at least that deep, and because caught them all and caught that one and missed them two right there, just shucks 2 boat lengths, and that told me we just hadn't been fishing deep enough, you know, type situation. But anyway, you know, we have slipped up there this time of year and sack 'em.
That's right.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. It just things get, you know, just get right and catch the fool out of them. Now Saturday night or Monday night when you and I were back up there, there was 3 other boats out on the water.
They were.
Yeah, sure was, and they were still there when we left. So we saw them off and on up the lake from us or down the lake from us. What time we were fishing, and they were out. They were still there when we loaded up.
Yes, sir.
So they may have been on something. And I figured they had a tournament coming up there probably this weekend, and they were there practicing for it probably, getting ready for it. You know, it looked like one of them had Kentucky tags on his truck, so I figured they may have been some of them guys from Kentucky down there fooling around and getting ready for a tournament or something. But anyway, that was, like I said, we were highly disappointed that we didn't do any better than that, for sure. Well, okay, Mike, what else was it you was going to mention?
Well, not only do they need to do the maintenance right now on their motors, but if you're going to put your rig up for the winter, right now would be a good time. If you've got the old type steering instead of the power steering, put a little grease and oil up that thing, because next spring you turn around there and it won't move.
Yeah, you got a
Especially,
good point, Mike. That's exactly right.
And the same way with your trailer bearings. You park that thing and it sets all winter. If there's water in them hubs, then it rusts them bearings up. And then when you jerk it out this spring, take off with it, then you've got a wheel bearing down.
Yeah, I agree with you. And very few times I've ever pumped grease in my hubs on my trailer that they wasn't some water come out first.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, there's plenty of grease in there, but it always pushed out the old grease in the water.
The new style with the grease fitting in the center of the spindle, that reverse lube, they call it, that squirts the grease in the back and pushes everything out the front.
Yeah.
That's even better. If you've not got that, then your buddy bearings or something like that, you know you need to go ahead and knock that thing down, pull it apart, and make sure that there ain't no water in it. Grease them up, because if it sits there in the winter, that water in there, it'll rust them bearings up.
Yeah. And you know, and if you've got a newer trailer that's got the oil-filled hubs on it, make sure look at your oil level, make sure it's where it's supposed to be, and listen, if that thing leaks out, it'll leak in. You know, kind of look and make sure that you don't have water in your sight gauge on that hub, and you're in good shape with that also. But do make sure you got the right, you know, it's up in the eyeglass there that you can check the level of your But yeah, the older style bearings, Mike, like I said, I've never pumped grease in mine that I didn't have water come out first.
That's right.
And so that's a good thought. And that steering, if you've got the old manual cable steering, good thing to pump a little grease in that thing and pump it in there, work it back, just a couple of pumps, work it back and forth, give yourself another couple of pumps, because it's going to have water come out around that steering rod also, Mike.
Yes, sir.
And it forces that water out. And what happens, that water lays there all winter, and it pits that metal, and then the next thing you know, the cable's rubbing it, and it fuzzes it up, and then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
It gets them, once it breaks that first strand, it's pretty much history.
That's for sure.
And it's pretty expensive little deal to get cables. If you can find the cables on the older boats nowadays, and if you have to go to the hydraulic steering, you probably $1,000, $1,500 to swap it over, where you might get several more years out of it if you kind of take care of it.
Yes, sir.
And we've run across several of them had steerings froze up, Mike.
Yeah.
And
You got to get to the lake, and then the motor won't turn.
yeah, and in the wintertime it usually shows up the worst, because the cold weather, the water's froze, and you get up to the lake, and that just tells you right there, if your cables are still good, but the steering's froze up. Well, heck, I went up there and had it happen before, and get back there and go to take my coffee cup and go to dipping water up on the steering to get it.
Yeah, put your hands on it.
Put your hands on it or something there to get it warmed up before you can get it to move a little bit and get it unthawed. And then when you get back home, get you some rags and some grease, or your grease gun and some WD-40, and go back there and go to cleaning up and greasing and oiling, and then that way you're good for the rest of the winter. But I have had that to happen. Get to the lake and that daggum thing be froze up, and have to thaw it out before you can take off, Mike.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, we've only got a few minutes left, folks. Listen, we enjoyed doing the show tonight. We got Christmas coming up and all that kind of stuff, and looks like we're going to have 4 shows this month, this being the first one. And we'll be here after Christmas there when that show rolls around. But anyway, God bless you all. Have a safe week, and hope to see you next week. Hey folks, I'm back here at Tim's Tires, and you saw the intro on the door, and they are also open on Saturdays from 8 to 12:30. And you know, I'm just looking at these tires. They've got lawnmower tires, they've got the small tractor tires, even the big tractor tires, and all these tires right here are for trucks and automobiles, vans, that kind of thing. And they've just got a warehouse full of tires, bringing them in all the time and shipping them out all the time. So if you're needing that set of tires, please come by here at Tim's Tires, Highway 27, going into Harriman on the left. It'll be on the right if you're coming from Harriman. And like I said, this place is just stacked full of tires, brands, all kinds, sizes, all kinds, and if they just happen not to have the size or kind you're wanting and the size, just give them a call down here and they'll have it for you, usually by the next day.
M960, La Follette.
Another member of Congress steps down. I'm Lisa Lacera.